one of the things you can do about your stress is drugs and alcohol.
Oh yeah, that makes it better.
Huh?
Oh yeah, that makes everything better.
It makes everything better, because what does it do to your stress?
Numbs it.
Numbs it. So remember how stress, if we put stress down here, and we put your problem solving ability, not problem solving the ability to solve a problem, on this axis, and we put stress on this axis, and make that a 10, make that a 1, make that a 1, make that a 10. As the stress goes up, goes this way, problem solving goes up. Goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up. Oops, doesn't keep going up, it can't. So then it drops. So by the time I get to a 10 in terms of stress, I'm at a 1 in terms of problem solving ability. In other words, I cannot problem solve. I can't even think. What happens is cognitive narrowing, which is the focus of your world comes in. Anybody ever had this happen?
Mm-hmm.
The focus of your world comes in, and all you can see is what's right in front of you. So it's like you're letting little blinders on. So being aware that your problem solving ability, as your stress goes higher and higher, your problem solving ability is very low. High stress, low problem solving ability. Okay, so now let's talk about low stress. So I'm down here with my stress, and I'm down there with my problem solving ability. So if I've got low stress, I've got low problem solving ability. Now that doesn't make any sense. I'm happy, I'm okay, I don't feel out of whack. Well, I don't have a problem. And since I don't have a problem, why would I apply any problem solving ability to it? Why would I organize this and try to control it if I don't have any stress? Why would I do that? I don't need to do that. I'm fine. No, you're not. You got a problem. No, not me. I don't have a problem. Just let me get some more drugs. I'll be good. My only problem is where I'm going to get my next hit. So I've got this nice narrow control on the negative side, just like I'd have a nice control on the positive side. I can have the same little process. So if we kick this one out, not working too well. This one's stuck. What happens to that? All right, so if we take that one out, and we send this guy down, so that's when I had really great control. Now, let's suppose in terms of getting a control, I'm getting control of my stress. This is why people that are so obsessive and compulsive about things don't like change. They don't like change. They don't like things to be different. They don't like things to be fluid and flowing. They want everything to be under control. And so there they are. Now here's the interesting thing about this. If I continue to do that, if I continue to send events down at them, right? What happens? It works pretty well. Everything that I'm doing works pretty well. I got everything in a nice tight group. Now, if anything changes, what happens? My nice tight group doesn't change. I don't lose my nice tight group. What happens to my nice tight group? Isn't that interesting? But what happened here and what happened here?
You didn't know what to do about a feeling that you got. Some kind of event came in and put you in a whirlwind that you didn't have control of and know how to deal with.
Something happened that was different.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't make the decision about everything that happened. I couldn't control everything that happened. I couldn't take my environment and shrink it down to a point where I could control everything. Environments are not the problem, people are the problem. You can shrink your environment. You can go live in a cave and you can put everything right there in your cave where you'd like it to be, and you can organize it and you can bury stuff where you want, and you can do all that kind of thing. But if somebody comes to visit you in your cave, you don't want them to touch anything. You don't want them to move anything. Because that's what happens if things get moved. Now look at this, we put this over here, but it's still filled up right here because the decisions that you were making, the feelings that you were having, and the decisions you were making were still funneling down here, except for every once in a while. And you talk about driving somebody who likes that kind of control crazy. Is just let those outliers happen a couple of times. And they get real excited. Not in a good way.
Heart attack, stroke, I've done it all. Really?
So it, again, you can be healthy or you can be unhealthy. You can be healthy, you can be unhealthy. On either end of the scale, doing exactly the same thing, making the same kind of things, with the only idea is that stress is going to go up and it's going to come down. What makes stress go up is things that are not specific. What makes stress come down is things that are specific. That's why this person is happy, because everything in their life is specific. And if everything's specific, then they understand it, it's all good. Until it's not. So the thing that this is hopefully teaching is that as we're going through this, there's always going to be something that happens like that is unspecified. And if we start to think of ourselves, and this is the guy named T.G.R. Bauer said this one time, children are the best problem solvers. And why would children be the best problem solvers?
Because they don't have a lot of stress.
Because they do have, oh yeah, kids have a lot of stress. Because everything is all squared up. Everything is not organized like, for them, they don't know.
Right.
They don't know how it all operates. So watch what happens if we do that. Let's leave that there.
The one that got away.
Yeah. Or you got sick or something else happened. But for the most part, things are pretty stable. Even though we dished all this because the parents are making the decision, right? And if they're making the decision, even if they're way over here, it's still coming right down the middle, and they're getting it. Except for things that they don't understand. Here's the thing, watch what happens when they go to school. I mean, it's the same deal. I go to a new environment. You came to a new environment. Once you came to a new environment, first thing is you don't even know where the bathroom is.
True.
So you can't take care of yourself like you did before. So it causes a huge amount of stress because everything's non-specific. As you meet people and you get into the routine and order, it becomes more specific. As it becomes more specific, we accept that and we relax. Brings the stress down. Interesting thing about this is, again, best problem solving is at mid-range stress. It's not at high, it's not at low, it's the mid-range. So when it's at the mid-range, the best problem solving, that's what happens. We don't have good problem solving here. We don't have good problem solving there. We only have it in this 4 to 7 range. So what do you have to do? You have to teach yourself to do that so that you can solve your own life problems. Now, what are life problems? Life problems are feelings that are left over from your life. So if you had a bad time in school, if you had a bad time in church, if you had a bad time at home, you got feelings. And unless you're able to surface those feelings, bring them up, look at them without getting so stressed out that you have to go into automatic mode. Automatic mode is your pattern. If you go to the stress, as it goes up, feelings as they go up, they reach a certain point. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. I reach this point, I gotta use my solution. I gotta pick a fight with somebody. I gotta go drink. I gotta get out of the house. I gotta run. I've got to fight, flight, or freeze. Once I do one of those, then if I freeze, I just hunker down and wait on the stress to go away. I've learned that if I wait long enough, the stress will bypass me. It'll go away. When it doesn't, all it does is drive my stress up higher and I freeze more. If I'm a fighter, I get to my point, I pick a fight. If the person won't fight with me, it just drives me higher. If I get to my point and I'm ready to run, and I can't run, it just drives my stress higher. In other words, in my way that I've organized my life, that I've decided for it to be, and this happens, and I don't get the answer I expect, all I do is more of what I've done in the past. I don't change. Healthy or unhealthy? What do you think?
Unhealthy.
Unhealthy.
Unhealthy. So the less I can change, the less adaptable I am. The less I can move, the less I can problem solve, the more unhealthy I become. The more I have to force my square response into a round hole.
And that's what happens here, is you get thrown into this where you don't have
Keep going.
your pattern that, well, you do, you start out with the pattern, but while you're here, you learn how to change the pattern, hopefully, and use a different response.
You learn your problem-solving
Right.
ability. That the emotions,
Like my
number one,
secrets, I'm the secret person.
the emotions are not gonna kill you. So it's okay to examine the emotions that got you where you are. Whether, doesn't matter what it is. The problem is that once we decide, if I'm 5 years old, and I decide I'm not good enough, I don't go back and re-examine that. I jump it. When the feelings, I get to this point, I jump to my response. I jump over the decision. I don't make it anymore. To get healthy, what you have to do is go back and make the decision, remake it. So if I made the decision when I was 5 years old, and I'm 35 years old now, I have a whole world of experience that I can draw from about how I should feel about what happened, about my life events. Does that make sense?
So for comparison purposes, say the parents weren't displaying that they could make healthy decisions. So the decisions are all off kilter, which makes the feelings all crazy. And then how could you change it after that, like for comparison purposes on the board? So we did it, it was very controlled. So what would happen if it started out like uncontrolled,
Okay,
down
so
towards the bottom?
so
Like, how would it end up?
if everything was happening like back and forth,
Right,
like if we take this out
right,
and
and
we,
move the feelings all around
yep, and the feelings
to
are all,
start out.
and so then we start doing this, and we start dropping. And it's still, you see, and
There's a wider range of emotions and reactions.
there's a wider
Yes.
range, see how tight that was?
Yes,
There's a wider range, and then every once in a while, what's gonna happen to that wider range is that,
yes,
You got your outliers.
it's
right,
getting wider,
yes,
it's getting wider.
Oh, yeah.
yes,
So what happens is that you've got this great huge wide range, and as a child,
right,
what do I do with it?
right,
Because I don't have anybody specifically telling me or showing me, because it's not about telling, it's about showing me how should I feel about that, how should I do about that. So if I have really bad models, if my models, my parent models are not good, then that's what you get,
right.
is you get this wide range. And then you get games. Games? We're gonna play a game?
Not the fun ones.
Not the fun one. No, you get games, and the games, the purpose of the game is just to pass the time while we're together. And so I can play gotcha. In other words, so you're wearing blue jeans today. Oh, you know, blue jeans. And I make you feel a certain way.
Yes,
I can keep you feeling a certain way as long as you don't say to me, I don't think your decision's right.
right,
I don't think your decision, I don't think you get to make the decisions about me.
and that goes back to creating a response to keep yourself comfortable in a high stress situation. So you create that situation because that's where you're comfortable, is in that wide range of chaos.
That's right. And
Yes.
so what you do is you create the chaos.
Yes,
You start to create the chaos for yourself even this kind of stuff, any crazy making stuff,
Yes.
and you create it for yourself. Once you start to create it for yourself, then these people can take a rest because you've got it now.
Right.
You've got it.
Yeah.
It's all
On
clear.
your own.
And the thing that I really like about it is that you're under my control, believing that you need to be crazy making for yourself. You need to make yourself nuts.
Right.
And then you run into one or two people that say, I've got the answer. Comes in a bottle, comes in a pill, comes in a smoke. I've got the answer. And you try it, and lo and behold, it's a specific. It's not a non-specific, it's a specific, because when you use it, it does exactly what you want it to do. It's a specific that reduces your stress. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
What you want to do to be healthy is you want to expand the range of your problem solving. So you want to be able to problem solve from here all the way to here. I mean, you don't have to worry about this because I don't feel it, but when I get way up here, I want to be able to do something physically to bring myself down, or if I'm here, I actually have to do something to raise my stress.
Yes.
I have to raise it. Think about when you're in school and you knew you weren't ready for an exam and you stayed up all night and crammed. Everybody did it. What are you doing? I've got a test, an event coming, and my stress is way up here, and so I do something that makes me tired, physically tired. By becoming physically tired, I reduce my stress.
What if you drink a cup of coffee too?
I can drink a cup of coffee.
That makes it worse.
It's a
You're gonna be extra
specific.
tired.
Staying up all night is a specific. I can do something that's specific,
Mhm.
and it reduces my stress. You know, I can get a Monster drink,
Yeah.
or whatever the thing is. And it raises. Now, does it improve your ability to retain information for a test?
No.
Not much. Not much.
But you cram enough to get through the test and then
Exactly.
done it at
Then you forget
BC.
everything.
Yes,
You just remember it for a day.
So
Don't
then,
retain anything.
then I decide that if I'm in a situation where I really have to perform, like on a test, every time I'm going to put myself into that level of stress, thinking that it's going to help me to perform.
It works if you work it right.
It worked once. I passed,
So let me do it every time.
so I'm going to do it again. And so that's the way we get patterns. We get patterns because we find stuff that works based on what we decided to do and the responses that we created, and then it gets me through the test. It eliminates the test.